Hello and welcome back to Quarterlight. Today we're going to look at another 70s British Leyland classic, The Princess. The Princess was originally launched in March 1975 as three completely different names. There was the Austin, the Morris and the Wolseley 1822. 1822 referring to the two different engine sizes, a 1.8 or a 2.2 litre engine. Now, in September 1975, they had a complete change. British Leyland were going through a bit of an organisation shift. Rather than having all these different dealerships with different names, they decided to bring them all together under British Leyland Cars. Now that resulted in these three cars becoming one and thus being renamed Princess. Not Austin Princess as it's sometimes referred to, it was purely a branded name, Princess. Although incidentally in New Zealand it was actually referred to as the Austin Princess. Now the Princess went on until 1978 and it had a little bit of an update from 78 to 81. The update was mainly an engine change from the old B series engine to a new O series engine. And it was referred to as the Princess 2. The design itself did run on a little bit longer under the name Austin Ambassador. But essentially the name Princess was gone forever. Princess was used a long time ago in the 40s as very large luxury cars at the time. Although completely different to this Harris Mann wedge shaped design. Harris Mann also doing the TR7, another wedge shaped design. Now the brochure we're going to look at today is from 1980, so it is going to be the Princess 2 with that new engine. So let's dive in and have a look at that brochure and see what else we can see. So let's look at the brochure, here it is. And it kind of like folds out to being a bigger picture of the Princess. If you notice, it's now got this sort of Austin Morris badge on this Princess 2. One thing I did forget to say, Wolseley, when they did the update in September 75, sadly that was the end of the Wolseley name altogether, although Austin and Morris kind of like carried on. Anyway, let's open the brochure up and see what we can see. So here it is, and it kind of like folds out to being a quite nice picture of this Princess. All the pictures I've noticed in this book, certainly the first few pictures at least, are showing the top of the range, the HLS. The HLS has this larger one piece headlight, if you will. And then on this side it shows the original Harris Mann designs. It says, I set out to design tomorrow's luxury family saloon, a car that would instantly make the competition seem old-fashioned. Harris Mann, chief designer, exterior stylist. Now, on these design brochures, it always shows these original designs. They are always a little bit more futuristic than what the car actually came. A much pointier front end was kind of designed, almost like a sort of TR7. It was much more wedge shaped. But I don't know if I'm the only one, but I still like the final design of the Princess. I still think it looks like quite a futuristic, pleasant looking design, and I do like Harris Mann's designs that he came out with. It's just a shame they kind of like changed them subtly a little bit there than what the original designs, but nevertheless I do still like the Princess as a design. As with most British Leyland cars, fantastic designs, you can't really argue, they're really good designs. Sometimes the final execution just wasn't there, and that's quite sad, but I am still a fan of British Leyland cars nevertheless. But anyway, let's look further into the brochure and see what else we can see. And this next page is really kind of like showing some of the features of the Princess 2, and also showing that this sort of wedge design compared to a box design is far more aerodynamic. It also shows there's more space in there because, like we said, it's a front engine, front wheel drive, transverse engine design, and that really leads to being greater space on a smaller package, if you will. It's showing the boot or trunk area there, and that was kind of like, it shows it here, but that was kind of like one of the disadvantages, I think, and it did lose a few sales from not being a hatchback. It was originally designed to be a hatchback, but eventually we decided to leave it as a boot because they thought it might steal sales from other British Leyland designs, which I think that was quite a short-sighted decision. The next page there is showing the bonnet can glide up on gas struts, and overall it's showing that it's far better. It's more room than a Cortina. It's more aerodynamic than other box-shaped designs. Although, kind of like by the 80s, it was now becoming a much more elderly design. But certainly when it first came out, it must have been quite a radical design. The next page is showing some kind of like crash protection systems. It mentions that new O series engine, and it also mentions the independent hydro gas suspension. It shows on there what car summed the system up when comparing it to suspensions on the Audi 80 GLS and Mazda Montrose 2-litre GLS. There is no contest in it as far as ride and comfort are concerned. Yes, it was a nice smooth riding car at the time, although notice they don't really mention any of the French cars. Certainly it wasn't as good a system as the Citroens, that's for sure. Now the interesting thing about this page, it does actually open up, so let's open it up and see what we can see. You can see it opens up and it makes a really big deal about craftsmanship and how well it's built. Now the problem when the Princess came out, build quality was really affected by poor quality control and typical 70s British industrial action, and it gained a really poor reputation for unreliability. And unfortunately, it never really lost that reputation, although it certainly became a better car later on in its product run. By this stage, it certainly was a better car, but certainly by no stretch of the imagination would you ever use the name British Leyland and fantastic craftsmanship. But it's certainly showing into great detail how the car is painted and how well it's protected, because again it's going back to the 70s idea of British Leyland cars, and it's unfair just to say British Leyland cars, but 70s cars in general were complete rust boxes. They completely fell apart, they rusted apart in no time at all in rainier climates like in the UK. So they've really gone to great extent to say this is a well crafted car, it's very well painted, it's going to last a long time, it's a great car. It's still rusted, it still wasn't particularly reliable, but it was better than what it was. This next page is showing the interior, this sort of nice brown velour. Certainly looks very comfortable with that rear armrest, although certainly quite a brown colour, certainly like a very 70s design colour, but certainly it does look a comfortable place to be. This initially is showing the Princess HLS, the top of the range at the time, and as we go through the brochure it shows the lower trims as well. But before we see the lower trims, this page actually opens up, so let's open that up now. Opens up, it shows more detail of the interior of this top of the range one, trying to show it as a luxury car, even taking a couple of glasses there that fit neatly into the glove box. I'm sure not many people took these nice glasses with them in their car. It also gives you a good idea of how it's badged. So the Princess, now the Princess 2, in the badging showed it as such. 3 different engine sizes you could get on the top of the range: the 1.7, the 2 litre and the 2.2 HLS. So let's turn the pages and see the lower trims as well. This is the one model down, the sort of mid-spec car, if you will, the HL. Available in 2 engine choices this time, the 1.7 and the 2 litre, the O series engine. With this one, you got sort of like that rear vinyl trim quarter panel. You still got an armrest in the back and sort of like these distinctive wheel trims on there. It doesn't show on there, but it also had twin headlights rather than the single piece one. And also the L was on that. I think we can see it better on the lower spec L, so we'll do that now. Okay, and this is your base model, the L. Only available as 1 engine size this time, the 1.7. It was actually a 1695 CCO series engine, and they made it under 1.7 litres for tax reasons. So for your company car tax reasons. So this was more likely to be your company car taken under that tax barrier. We've kind of like lost the fake wood dashboard now, and like I say, we've got these twin headlamps, which it shows it a lot better on the L version. But still, it was a large car for the money. You certainly got a lot of space for your money, and that's certainly how it was sold. Then finally, we've got the specification page on the last page, as it so often is. The nice thing about this, you can actually see on that 1.7L how it looks different from the HL and the HLS with the different wheels. I think the L was just kind of like a chrome hubcaps, where the HL and HLS was full size wheel caps. And you can also see that vinyl trim difference, it being a plain one colour on the L. It's showing on here that inside it, for the extras above the L, for the HL we got a walnut veneer fascia, extended centre console with rear cigar lighter, leather bound steering wheel rim, rear centre armrest, glove box light and sill tread plates. And then on top of that, for the HLS, we got burr walnut veneer fascia, front seat centre armrests, adjustable passenger seat 240 positions, head restraints, new style ribbed and plain velour seat facings, net pockets behind the front seats, twin rear reading lights, fully carpeted boot, spare wheel cover and a manual tune radio cassette. And on top of that, if you wanted extras on top of your HLS, you could have an automatic transmission, you could have alloy wheels, a metallic paint finish, push button radio cassette, and it mentions alloy wheels again. So you certainly could have extras on top of that. In terms of performance, it's really showing on here, not really performance at all, it's really showing you sort of fuel economy figures, if you will. I don't think it really wanted to tell you what the top speed of the cars were, but it's ranging on there from 38.2 miles per gallon to 34 miles per gallon on the 2.2, and that's going 56 miles per hour. And that's kind of the end of where we come to on this particular brochure. So there we have it, the Princess. The Princess sold around about 225,000 units, somewhere around there. But unfortunately most of them were kind of like scrapped by the 90s. It was never a really collectible or loved car for people to restore them. So it's sad that there's quite a few of them left today. Unfortunately, it was always a car that had that bad reputation for unreliability and poor quality control, as so many British Leyland cars did in the 70s due to all that industrial action. But nevertheless, I do like the Princess. It's an unusual design if you see them around the road today, and it was certainly a striking design when it came out. Thank you once again for watching Quarterline. If you did enjoy this episode, please do like and subscribe. There's certainly going to be lots more videos to come. So for now, take care and goodbye.